Oh shit. Good morning. Oh, I'm tired. I literally lost sleep over that last night. I woke up like 4 times at least. Paranoid for some reason. Even one of the times I woke up, I sat there Googling stuff on my phone trying to find more information about this. I don't know. But anyways, we're ready to give this another go. That emulsion has been drying for like 13 or 14 hours now in optimal conditions, so that eliminates that from being part of the problem. That's perfect. Also got some fresh film positives ready to go. Those last ones, they came out kind of janky, and that was because the emulsion was still kind of soft on the other stuff. So hopefully these ones last more than one go, and then I can, you know, put that in the memory banks for later. I'm making notes of all of this stuff, by the way. And we're gonna run with way more exposure time today. Yesterday was 4 minutes. Clearly not enough, not even close. According to that exposure calculator, I was around a 3, so we need to be up to a 7. And it says that I need to bump up my time by 2.8 times that. So that brings us in around 11 minutes, 20 seconds, but we're dealing with way drier emulsion this time, so I feel like that's gonna make the exposure time less. But we're still gonna stick to 11 minutes and see how that goes for the first one. Thankfully this time I prepped 4 screens, so if we mess up the first ones, we got a couple extras and we can dial it in. So today we're gonna nail this. So let's go. So as you can see, it just washed right out again. I don't understand what's going on now. Starting to think that maybe just this batch of emulsion sucks or something. Like, I don't get it. I guess the only thing we can do is try another screen and see what happens. All right, so I tried again. This time it seems to have worked by the looks of it. The edges look crispy. I'm still a little bit underexposed according to that thing. I don't know what that fucking bullshit is in the corner, but I'm not a fan of it. And yeah. But we had 2 varying factors this time. 1, we used a different design. This was the overprint design for the second color. And 2, because it's an overprint, it's on a finer mesh than the other stuff that was blowing out super easily, so I don't know. But we do have 1 more screen of each, so we're gonna stick that back in there for a little bit more time than I exposed this one and see how that goes. Learning stuff is hard. We're back for screen number 2. The first one that worked out, we went 14 minutes on the exposure and it was a little bit under by 1 step. This time we went 20 minutes and we are pretty much bang on. We're maybe a tiny bit over because one of the squares started washing out there, but I mean, I'm calling that good. But man, 20-minute exposure time. Something about that is not right to me. And while I was doing all this sitting and waiting around, I managed to actually find the baseline using these exact things I'm using this exact exposure table and that exact emulsion. And the baseline time they give you for that is 4 minutes. So either I've got a turd bucket of emulsion or they need to really update their stuff because that is not right. But I'm kind of thinking it might be the emulsion. So I'm gonna go ahead and order different stuff, more sensitive, harder to use stuff, but to me it sounds like it's gonna be easier. I don't know. But anyways, we gotta let these babies dry, so let's go mix some ink, shall we? First thing we need to do is figure out our colors. We obviously need white, so I transferred some from that giant ass bucket into this little quart container. Pretty self-explanatory. The second thing we need is to figure out a color to go with it. Kind of thinking like a mint or a light teal color will look cool next to white on a black shirt, so we gotta find that. And then we have to figure out the Pantone colors for the finished Rogue Lab logo. That logo was never designed using Pantone spot colors. It was just done in Adobe Illustrator and using CMYK, and obviously we need something that's going to be repeatable from here on out. So we need to figure out the actual Pantone colors for it, or at least match them as close to it as possible. And then we have our colors from here on out, and we can print some shirts using the actual logo colors. So let's do this. I'd say we have us a match. I've been waiting for this part for so long. Perfect match. 1 down, 2 to go. All right, well, I guess let's test this out. Okay, well, I've gotten overconfident again, and I tried to do a butt registration on this, which means I made the overprint image the exact same size as the under image, which usually you do like a little bit of an overprint just to make it go easier, but I know this is something I need to learn at some point, so I figured let's just do it right now. And that was a foolish idea because I've been trying to register this for like an hour and a half now, maybe, almost 2. I got it close enough. I'm sick of trying. We're printing these goddamn things. I can't fucking do this. I can't just let that slide. Well, scratch that idea, because the more I look at it, the more this is driving me insane. So I think I'm gonna burn another screen with the proper overprint on it and see how that does. But still, this emulsion, even though it worked this time, the edges, they look kind of like shit, and I don't like it. I don't even know where we're at in the story right now because I turned the camera off so many times and so many things happened in between the camera being off. I don't even know what's happening right now. But I will tell you, this is a hell of a lot more complicated than I originally thought it was gonna be. Definitely, I can say that going into this overconfident was horrible, and obviously now I know overconfidence is something I'm gonna have to curb because this is not easy. But I did learn a few things today. One, that water-based adhesive that I'm using to stick the shirts down to the pallets needs to be diluted a lot, because once that stuff tacks up, it's like those pallets just got bukkakied like crazy. Like you can't even pull a shirt off of there without distorting the living crap out of it. So I do know now I need to dilute it like at least 25-75, maybe even 50-50. I'm gonna experiment with that tomorrow. Number 2 is I did manage to dial in the time and temperature on my conveyor dryer to cure these things properly. Even though I've had my grubby hands all over this one, it seems to be all right, so I can stretch it. It's not going apart. Fantastic. Number 3 is that being a total noob at this and trying to do a perfect butt registration, which is still hilarious every time I say it, but trying to knock that out very first try, stupid idea. So I am actually going to burn new screens to go at this tomorrow because those ones I'm still not happy with. Like I said, the edges are super janky on them, and actually you can see it in the prints too, and I'm just not happy with it. So we're gonna try it one more time and see how that goes. And actually shitting the bed on this many screens was kind of a good thing to a certain degree, because now I can set up my dip tank, because that thing holds up to 6 screens, so I wanted to have screens to put in it before I filled it, because, you know, displacement and all that. I didn't want to start filling it up and then all of a sudden, you know, put screens in it and just ruin all the chemical and stuff in there, because it's all spilling over the sides and make a big mess of that room. And then I gotta start at square one. So at least I've got that. I got 6 screens now I can dump in there and fill it up, so that's a positive. And I guess one thing that did go right today is I mixed those Pantone colors exactly to a T, so I mean, I'll call that a victory. That's something. So I guess what's left to do is I gotta clean this gigantic mess that I made, and we're gonna continue this thing tomorrow. It's a 3-day vlog, but I'm not gonna be one of those YouTubers who only shows you when things go right and, you know, we're always happy and everything's so perfect all the time. Those people are ass cancer. Things aren't always perfect. Things don't always go right, especially learning a brand new big set of skills that I severely underestimated. But we're gonna show you starting at the bottom and severely shitting the bed multiple times and hopefully becoming triumphant. All right, nobody wants to watch me clean, so we're continuing this tomorrow.